Thank you for talking to us this morning. Why did you decide that you wanted to get involved in this kids' TV programme? I guess it's not because you're a budding TV presenter.
No, that's definitely not the reason. I mean, I've been mates with Will Greenwood for quite a while, and his family with Di, so that's how it all came about. But from our perspective, or from my perspective, there's got to be a focus on the next generation. There has to be. And the beauty of it, though it's a massive risk from our point of view, the beauty of it is kids will ask whatever they want to ask. They have no inhibitions. They have no problem with going up to someone and saying, "You've got no legs. Why?" And these guys are a little bit upset, a little bit bored of the parents pulling the kids away, saying, "Leave the poor man alone." They'd much rather tell their story.
And it's really setting them up as role models, and that really is what Invictus is about, isn't it? It's not just focusing on the athletic kind of prowess of the people who are taking part. It must be a real boost for them, for people to go, actually, I'm admiring you.
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot more people, there's a lot more soldiers, obviously, who you know, quite bluntly, should be dead. And you know, there's double amputees, single amputees, guys who are scarred for life, arms, legs, whatever it be. And to have those individuals walking around in society, kids will inevitably bump into those kind of individuals. And rather than being scared or put off by it, like some of the generations have been, why not just completely smash the stigma that surrounds prosthesis and disability as a whole, and just let children ask the questions that they want to ask, and the grown-ups and the adults will have a chance to learn from their kids because they're not, you know, politically correct or whatever. If you want to ask a question, ask the question. These guys, as I said, would much rather answer it, and far rather these kids know the true story of why this individual has one leg, no legs, from the fact that he's served their country as a proper role model, than something else. Yeah.
You're talking there about physical injuries, but obviously with Orlando, a lot of it is going to be looking at psychological injuries, invisible injuries as well. Are you surprised that so many people have come forward and said, actually, I have been psychologically affected by what I've seen? Did you, for example, were you offered psychological support when you came back from Afghanistan?
The army put you through a 2-day course on the way back through Cyprus, which is I mean, crucial for everybody. Everybody has a different role. I always take my hat off to the infantry and snipers, because that's when you're at the forefront of it, and you know, God forbid, some of these stories that you hear, guys are, you know, with bayonets and everything, which is brutal. But I think, you know what, I described it to someone ages ago as one of those sort of slideshows that go through your mind. Everything that, if you've got a good imagination as well, everything that you see, especially if it's something that is quite powerful, then that slide is in there. It's always in there. And if you have dark moments in your life, those slides will pop up. And you know, there are images that I've been lucky enough not to see, but there's been images that I've been unfortunate to see. Nothing like some of these guys. But yes, there is a percentage of me being able to relate to exactly what they go through. I luckily never had a friend of mine in front of me or behind me blown up. I can't imagine what that's like for someone, because not only is it shocking for them, but it's one of the most powerful things is this guilt. And the majority of guys that suffer from psychological injuries, the invisible injuries, have absolutely nothing wrong with them apart from all up here. And that's very hard for people to accept, but those are the people that have witnessed the injuries around them, and they've been the lucky ones. But there's a lot of guilt and there's a lot of blame, and I think that's a huge part that the guys need to get over, that there's nothing wrong with those slideshow of images. You can either be fixed, but if you talk about it, you find coping mechanisms. And as long as you can find coping mechanisms in your day-to-day life, then the stigma surrounding it and the ability to be able to talk about it makes such a difference. And that I can say for certain. And
I know you've got to go off and do a bit more TV presenting, but one quick question. How important is Invictus for you in terms of your future role? I know it was a year ago that you were talking to me about how you were facing this crossroads. Is Invictus going to be your key priority going forward, or are there other things that we're going to find out about?
No, there's you know what, Rhiannon, there's a lot more things, and I can't wait to share it with everybody, but it's still very much in the making. And you know, I think everybody knows what I'm like now. I want to make sure that I do everything properly. Hopefully that people trust me, that I make the right decisions, and everything that I do it with passion, and I love doing what I do. I genuinely love it.
So we need to watch and wait still.
Of course you need to watch and wait. But my point is that Invictus, I would love Invictus to be a full-time role, of course I would. But the reality is it's not going to go on forever. This is serving a purpose while it's needed. And I'm not going to ask the guys to train for 4-6 months for 1 day or for 5 days in the year so that we can put on Invictus Games. The purpose, if it's needed, we will put on the games. But if it's not needed, we'll put it in a box, and God forbid we may have to use it again. But we're not going to thrash this to its death. It's there, it's serving a purpose until it's not needed, and then, hey presto. But it's fun. It's so much fun.
I bet you can't wait for Orlando. Thank you for talking to us.
I can't wait
Enjoy.
For Orlando.